welcome to the Team Weichselbaum Show. This is episode 46 of my podcast. My name is Tim Weichselbaum, but I go by many fake names. I change my name every 4 years. I don't know, I can't commit. My real Tim Weichselbaum, that's a good name if you want to be like a lawyer who is not like our top lawyer. Nobody would hire a lawyer named Weichselbaum. They might be okay if a lawyer was on their team of, but nobody would be like, oh, Weichselbaum and Co. That's a good law firm. Maybe just because it looks so Jewish that they would be, prospective clients. They would be like, well, that's a very long Jewish last name. Let's hire that law firm. But I can't pronounce it, so I don't want to be like, maybe it would carry some cachet though, because, sometimes like a rich brand would be a brand name that nobody knows how to pronounce, and that's part of what makes it cool. Like the obscurity of like, ooh, what is that law firm? Weichel, Vixel. How the fuck do you pronounce that? Oh, you have to really know you have to really be rich to know. You have to be a big billionaire to have enough money to afford the services of Weichselbaum and Associates. So you know what? I'm keeping it. I'm keeping the last name. It's terrible for anything else, though. It's terrible for, like, anything in the public, like anything like, hey, look at me. My name is Tim Weichselbaum, and I'm here to give you the information that you... Yeah, so I hate my real name. I hate the fake names that I have been using. I've kind of just given up on any form of identity at the moment because I haven't been connecting with society. So what I'm saying is I gave up. I don't need an identity because I've been taking a break from society. Like if you're not participating in the world, it doesn't really matter what the fuck you call yourself. So it doesn't really matter. I don't need an identity when I live here at home. I just look in the mirror and I go, hey, it's that guy again. I don't need to refer to myself as anything other than I actually do call myself Jim in my head. I go, oh, Jim, you fucking idiot. Because Tim is like, that could be Jim too. You don't have to get perfectly specific about the letter that it starts with. I respond to Jim or Bim or Kim. If somebody says, hey, Kim, I go, I know that's... You mean Tim? Because it's easy to confuse, or Mim. I respond to Mim or him. Basically, anything that ends in an im, it's the same thing as it's close enough. So I call myself Jimbo in my head sometimes. Hey, Jimbo, what are you doing there? Because Tim is a very nondescript boilerplate name. It doesn't have any personality to it. Like Tim, there's no meme attached to the name Tim. There's many other memes for boys' names like Kyle. That's a meme. Toller, no. Like Jaden. There's a lot of Jadens running around. Bunch of gay. It's a gay name. I don't mean that as like a negative thing. I mean it as like Jade is like you're probably gonna be sucking cocks if your name's Jaden. That's all. Like if your name's Jaden, I feel like if that was my name, I would want to suck cocks. I would just have like this feeling about me. It's like, well, if my name's Jaden, I kind of want to suck some cocks. Because that's my fucking name. My name's Tim. Okay. There's zero sexuality in the name Tim. Zorro is the most sexually heavy. That carries the most sexual fucking glam if your name's Zorro. So I'm going to name my kid Zorro, and he's going to be a Chad. I'm going to name him Chad, last name Zorro. And he's going to... He's going to fucking carve his initials into the flesh of every woman that he... Never mind, that's not sexy at all. So anyway, Tim, though, nobody sees the name Tim and gets wet. They don't like, ooh, he's probably got a big fucking cock. Tim. Yeah, it's a very non-personal name. Very nondescript. Anyway, I'm wearing the sunglasses because I think it just kind of masks the ugliness of my hair. Because I got this weird, like, non-kept, very disorganized, blocky, ugly-looking hair. Like, what the hell is this? It's almost a mullet. You know, like, it could almost pass as a mullet. If I just cut a tiny bit off the front, it'd be a fucking mullet. I don't know. I like mullets. Not enough to actually have one, which I already do, but like not enough. Like this is just my natural look. But I like mullets because there is like some practicality to them. Like there's a reason that the people that they say like party in the back or whatever, business in the front. There's some truth to that. That's the reason people started doing it. It's because they live in I don't know, like Texas. Like you want to still be presentable in the front and not have like a bunch of this gross, hair around your just blocking everything. Like bangs are not professional. This is not a professional look. I look like I'm in Blink 182, like I'm going to start crying about being a teenager. Nobody loves you when you're 23, man. So yeah, that's why mullets exist, is because you can't be going around doing contracting work, demolition work with fucking emo hair. So you shave off the front, but there's nothing stopping you from having having long hair in the back. Like that's not unprofessional to have like a little bit in the back if you're doing it. So I don't know. So I don't have to explain mullets, but that's why they exist. That's why they're prominent. And I actually kind of like the look now that I got the glass. The glasses make it presentable. They kind of give you like okay, I get that he's at least not like a murderer. Like without the glasses, it's like, oh fuck, what the hell is this guy planning? Like if you just saw this, yeah, you're running for the hills. But if you see this, it's like, okay, he's just a crypto douche. That's less threatening. At least I'm not going to get shot. At least he's not going to kidnap me. He's just going to fucking talk about crypto. Whoopee. I'll just walk away. So, yeah. What else is in the news? So, last week I did this. I caught up on everything that is very important in the world of the Queen dying. I guess I care more about that than I thought I would, because I've been learning a lot about the succession of all that bullshit. But anyway, that's old news. And so I'm wearing this shirt, this nice little t-shirt here. This is a lightweight cotton t-shirt. Nothing fancy about it, except for the fact that it's made of Egyptian cotton and costs $50. Can you believe it? Just this regular old t-shirt costs $50. And the reason I like it so much is because it's lightweight, so it's breathable. Like, you don't fucking feel like you're even wearing anything. So there you go. Because it's still pretty hot. Anyway, so I'm adjusting to Texas life. And also another way that I'm adjusting to Texas life is by not going anywhere. So I'm also like, yeah, so the whole So let's start the show. Okay, so this is episode 46. And so let's start on the first topic of isolation. Social isolation. Yes, I've been completely isolated for, 3 months. Not going out. So I did go out once last week to just because I had to. I was out of drugs. So we are going to get heavy into drugs on this episode because I'm doing them. I'm abusing them. I'm using them. I'm getting them prescribed. I'm buying them legally. I'm experimenting. I'm putting my brain through a trial period, just throwing a bunch of chemicals at it to try to squeeze out as much juice and optimization as I can. So I did have to leave the house to get some weed from the weed store. Texas does not allow, like, legally you can't get like real Delta 9, but there's loopholes. I just found this out. The cannabis industry is a huge fucking industry that's changed. Like, every fucking day they discover like a new cannabinoid that they didn't even know that just came out of nowhere from, like, I don't know, from like all these strains of marijuana through the years have started to become morphed, and they evolved, and they started developing these new compounds, I guess. And so they started isolating these new compounds like THCP, THCO. There's 1,000 of them every day. It's like, oh, there's a new one. And they're all legal because, they can't just make it illegal magically. So yeah, there's all these different ones that you could get. And so Delta 8 is the one that I've been most familiar with. And so I've been doing that. And it works. It's not as good as the real shit, but it's legal and it's cheaper. So I've been getting that. But then there's all these other fucking ones. And so I went to the weed store and I wanted to just get the shit that you could just dab. Just because there's no bullshit. I don't like the pens. The pens, they work, but then they get harsh after a while. Like, after you grow a tolerance, you need to take these big fucking rips, and that's fucking hard on your lungs, and like it's harsh, and like it. So I got a fucking tub of this fucking distillate. So this is D8 distillate, 25 grams. Look how clear that is. It has just a slight tinge of coloration. You could see that it's like honey. It's like very clear honey. So anyway, so that shit will last me quite a long time. But it's not real weed. It's Delta 8. So it's not quite as good, but it was cheap as fuck. This shit was $100 for 25 grams. That shit'll last me a long time. But anyway, so there's all these other guys. And because the thing about me is I need to be high on something because I'm a drug addict. And for me to perform at my optimal performance in life or in any situation, I just kind of need to be on a strong on a drug. Not any specific. It doesn't have to be a farmer's. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be illegal. It doesn't have to be one that's super abusable. But let's face it, those are the best ones. Come on. Those are the best ones. So I've been not abusing, but I've been self-medicating with marijuana for 15 to 20 years. I don't even know how long it's been. Since I was 17, that's when I discovered that weed was my fucking drug of choice. And because I've always had problems with being sober, with being bored of life. So I spent my 20s up until, just constantly smoking, vaporizing weed, and to get anything done. So that's a very it has its benefits and it has its downsides. So the benefits of using weed for, like, I don't know, being a programmer, is it makes you more good at looking at things from like a bird's eye view. It makes you attack problems in a way that you might not look at it if you were completely, like, it just kind of like makes you look at things outside the box. So it is good, but then it has like this feature where you get kind of burnt out and you feel like you just can't really focus. So weed is good, but it's not good for long-term productivity, because you get burnt out and then you just want to like jerk off and eat a bunch of high calorie, It just makes you want to like tune out a little bit after a while, but it is good though. It's better than nothing. Without weed, I would not be anywhere. I don't know where I would be without weed. I'd probably just be doing some other drug. So anyway, so something I've been struggling with, let's just go through the checklist. So we started with isolation. I'm still completely isolated myself from the outside world, and it's fine. So I got to make it worthwhile. If I'm not growing any social connections at the moment and just pretending to be, basically effectively just being dead to the outside, like to the outside world, I'm effectively a non-living entity. So everybody else is like, generating these new experiences. I'm doing jack shit, fuck all. I'm just getting older. So I need to do something that's worth the social isolation. And I'm starting to do that. And we'll get into that. It takes a while. I had to focus on fixing the issues that I've been discovering that I had, first of all, to begin with. Okay. Something I just discovered, something I realized is I have a real laugh that I don't show other people. I don't ever reveal my real laugh, but I have one. It's buried in there, and it comes out when I'm alone. Now that I live alone in the middle of nowhere in a suburban neighborhood, but nobody cares, I could release my real personality. And it's pretty nuts. My real laugh is pretty nuts. So that's why I probably don't reveal it in real life. But it's probably also a good laugh, and it would show that I have a real personality. Anyway, that's a boring topic. So I just discovered, and I'm speaking of weed, since I have been only like consuming high quantities of cannabis every single day, if I don't continue that, it makes me it makes me bored. So it's just like, okay, give me something to smoke. Like, I have this urge to consume, to take a hit of the vape pen, or the vape. So anyway, we might have to pause we might have to, for the first time ever, pause the episode. Anyway. So I just discovered a huge discovery. I mean, we make huge discoveries on this podcast all the time. Some of which are about myself and about my, personality and things that I struggle with, and being, here's a fancy word that's being thrown around, is neurodivergent and neurotypical. Those fucking terms, people love to talk about how they're neurodivergent, and that's, hey, it's good to know that I'm definitely that. And so one thing I discovered in the past year is that I definitely have some features of autism, not ironically, like actual, like for real. And that was great to know, but also it didn't really... That's not the whole picture, though. There's another thing wrong with me, which I've been trying to treat, is depression and like low motivation and complete bad, chronic fatigue. I've been trying to address this with drugs, legal drugs, ones that you could just get with insurance, ones that you could just get from a doctor. So I've been taking Zoloft every day for 2 months. It's been 2 months, and I don't know if it's help. I guess it's helping a little bit, I guess, but it's not enough because just being on Zoloft is not making me motivated to reach goals at all. It's just not. It's making me maybe a little bit better at like not focusing on negative things. So I am like thinking about like positive things that I could be doing and that I am trying to do. But the antidepressants are not making me want to face the outside world. They're not making me want to go back to pursuing the things I was doing a few months ago, like comedy. It's just not. It's not worth. It's not. Okay, so for once I'm recording this when there's actually like human activity going on. I'm recording this at 11:40 a.m. Isn't that fucking weird? Anyway, so we're getting into the real meat of the episode, and that is the discovery I made about myself. Because doctors, I don't really talk to I don't really like have like a doctor to like give me a deep psychoanalysis on what's fucked up about me. So I'm on my own to figure it out. Anyway, so I have ADHD. I have really bad ADHD. Apparently, I just found this out. That's what's stopping me from committing to my daily goals. That's what's stopping me from doing anything. It's called executive function. That's what I've been lacking, is the ability to do shit that I don't want to do. That's been my problem. And I took Adderall as a child. As a small child, I was prescribed amphetamine. And it did the job. Like, it works. But it had side effects, and it's very it's a very cloudy drug with a lot of you have a lot of side effects on that drug. You feel high on it, like you feel it. It's not something that I wanted to be on every day. Also, I looked at it as like, okay, yeah, I don't care about school, and I took I was like, okay, I have this problem with academics, but then as soon as I got out of school, I was like, I didn't give a fuck about it anymore because I didn't really think it was a real problem. I was like, hey man, I got my own interests and hobbies that I'm going to pursue. I'm motivated to work on shit, but I wasn't. I was just using weed as a crutch to get into shit that I was working on my whole adult life. My entire adult life, I've been using weed as a crutch to motivate me to get anything done. And it does the job, but then also it's really not as good as Adderall. Because weed will get you like interest, like it wakes up the part of my brain that is sleeping, but then after a while it's like, fuck, I'm not, it just completely erases the motivation to continue on stuff. It's like, okay, what's the point of this again? Why am I doing this again? Yeah, so weed is not the best solution. So I don't know why. So I just like, okay, I guess that's it. I guess this is just the way it is. I didn't think I ever really was a candidate to go back on the hard stuff, on Adderall or other stimulants. I didn't think I was a real sufferer of that disease because I didn't understand it. And then after 10 minutes of YouTube, it's like, oh, I have every single I have the inattentive type of ADHD. There's different types. There's subtypes. There's like the inattentive type. There's the hyperactive type. I'm inattentive. I don't give a fuck about shit. I can't follow the plot of movies. I never know what's going on in movies. And everything has to be novel or else I get bored of it. And so that's like me to a T. That's why I can't follow through. That's why I can't develop things. You know, like for example, like I was better at, I like to improvise. I don't like to just do planned material on stage. Like, so that's one example out of many. And what is the solution for ADHD? There ain't it's the lack of dopamine. So you gotta take a fucking drug. I was like I'm not anti-drug, but I was anti-Adderall for a while because I was like, it has so many side effects. It's not fun to be on. Like you feel like this nasty, like there's this grainy fatigue. Like it energizes you, but you feel like you're paying for it because you have this weird background fatigue, even though you're energized and moving. So you feel yourself taxed by the so I was like, I don't want to be on that. I didn't think that it was a recreational drug when I was on it, but it is. I found out later in high school, so it has a street value. People love snorting Adderall. I was just on it to fucking get through schoolwork. I didn't look at it as a fucking party drug. And I still don't. And I've never done it since high school. But now that I've been educated more, it's like, what am I doing? I've been wasting time not snorting fucking Adderall. What am I doing not taking powerful fucking stimulants that Nazis took? Like people, like meth is the thing that I was talking about last episode and many episodes before, and also every episode, because of course of course that's like the thing that would probably be better than Adderall. There's a reason meth is so widely abused. It's because it fucking works. All you take is a little bit of that shit and you feel like a fucking $1,000,000. And you feel like you just like you're performing at your maximum. It's like, of course you're going to want to fucking abuse that. Of course you're going to fucking want to keep doing it. Like, Adderall gets you to the same place, but it has other side effects. It's not as clean, so you feel this nasty, grainy background. It's like, okay, I'm on a drug, but I'm also performing at a very high level. Amphetamine is that minus the side effects. You just feel awake. You just feel like capable. It just removes the fatigue and it just makes you be able to execute. Even modafinil does that, which I'm currently taking right now. I'm abusing I'm not abusing it. I'm taking the right amount. And so I might I might ask for a prescription for modafinil, because if you take enough of that, it's a stimulant. Enough of pretty much any stimulant is going to focus you. It's going to lead you to the same effect, I think, because all it is just you need to be stimulated. And if your brain is stimulated, it could focus. I don't know how that works. But that really is it. All it takes is just you need like a motor. You need more gasoline. And then you'll focus. It'll calm you down. Because my default state is like, okay, what is this? Okay, next. It's like I don't want to just sit and focus on one task. That's what I need a fucking drug for. So drugs are awesome. They should not be stigmatized as much as they are. Okay, so that was like the big thing I discovered in just like less than a week ago. I was like, whoa, it's not serotonin that's the problem, it's dopamine. I was not that depressed. Yeah, I was depressed because of my lack of productivity. Yes, I was depressed. And a little bit, and yes, sure, I have anxiety, sure. But those things would go away if I was actually productive. If I was actually doing shit around the house, even just like getting shit done around the house. I have massive anxiety about, because I know that if I don't do nothing about it, it's going to become a worse problem down the road. Like if I don't ever change, I don't know, the filter in my air conditioner or some shit, or if I never flush out the water, the hot water heater, if I just never do that, that'd be a problem. So anyway, and just little things like that, it makes me anxious because I know that I just don't want to do them. So Adderall or some other powerful central nervous stimulant is the solution to a lot of my problems. Because even just with modafinil, which is a great fucking powerful drug, armodafinil is the one I was on yesterday. That shit fucking locks you, just wakes you up, but you don't feel any side effects. Maybe there's a headache, but that went away. I started doing it every day and it clicked, and now I feel like I need it to function. So I get it. I get why people can start to need to take that in high doses. Because yeah, man, stimulation, man, that's what I was lacking. You need stimulation. It's because I took just a half a pill of armodafinil yesterday, and it made me so much better at Counter-Strike. Because it's not like anything was lacking in like my ability to perform in Counter-Strike. All it is just aim and timing. It's just hand-eye coordination. It's like motor skills, but precision. It's very precise muscle movements. And if you're stimulated, that's going to improve your performance in that. It's not like any amount of practice would improve my performance. It was just my brain not firing quick enough. So I'm sorry, but for me to perform at my best level, I need to be on a stimulant. So anyway, and I did purchase more weed items because now that I got the dabs, I could do an infinite amount of dabs for as much as I want, very cheaply. Like this shit is basically effectively so inexpensive, like it's almost not an expense compared to other shit I spend money on, like compared to like fast, delivery items. The weed is super inexpensive. The problem is that it's not powerful enough. It is helping me. So the next topic. Oh yeah, so when I was going to the weed store, I was driving in the Miata, and I was just focusing on the road, and I pulled up to a stoplight, and there's these people trying to get money, and this guy went into my window, he came up to me, he was like, "Hey, hello, how you doing?" I was like, "Not bad, just driving." He was like, "You seem distant. Is everything okay?" Like, "Yeah, I'm just focusing on you're invading my personal space." Anyway, let's talk about what actually. So anyway, let's do a quick update on the brown recluse. Okay, so a couple weeks ago, I guess it was like a couple months ago at this point in time. Yeah, almost two. Yeah, I discovered a adult brown recluse just walking on my floor for the first time ever in my life, and I killed it, and I identified it. I was like, okay, yeah, that's definitely a fucking brown recluse. And then a couple days later, I started seeing a bunch of babies, and so there's fucking babies, brown recluse, all over the fucking place. So I have traps everywhere. And I have more traps coming. I'm just going to keep laying out traps because so far there's not a single trap that hasn't caught at least one brown recluse. So that pretty much means that I could pick a random point in the house and be like, "Yep, there's a spider there at some point. You'll encounter." So they're babies. So, and you're not going to know if there's one on you because they're so fucking tiny. So the odds of me not getting bit by one is nil. I'm definitely going to get bit by one at some point. I'm definitely going to encounter one in my bed at some point because they're going to fucking go on my clothing and there's not going to be any way for me to know because they're so tiny. And then they're just going to live in my bed and get bigger just from eating. I don't know. It's going to be fucking a nightmare. It's not quite a nightmare yet because they're still small. Like, it's creepy and it's unpleasant discovering them. But I don't know. Like, I reached out to a couple places to get a quote, and I have not pulled the trigger on getting an exterminator to come over because I don't want to have to deal with having them go through everything and be like, okay, yeah. I am just too lazy to deal with that. So I'm going to wait until next year when they are all adults. So next year I'm going to be completely swarmed by adult brown recluse. And by that time, hopefully the market will go up on crypto and I'll just move to a different house. So it is slowly making me like desensitized to bugs. Like now, if I see a spider and it's not a recluse, it's like, okay, at least I don't have to worry about it being poisonous. Oh man, so like, it's like, okay, one step at a time, becoming more tough. Like now, if I see a spider and it's not a recluse, like, okay, I don't even worry. I don't even have to like kill it. Okay, I'm getting exhausted right now. I'm getting hit by a wave of exhaustion. And it's because I've been kind of forcing myself to wake up in the daytime, and I'm getting hit with like this feeling of like lightheadedness and nausea right now as we speak. And it's not good. It's also kind of makes me feel almost like what it feels like to have not to freak anybody out, but I've been feeling this a lot lately of like this feeling of like slight weirdness that is a little bit reminiscent of what it's like to have a seizure. Ever since I started taking Zoloft, it's not quite a full sensation of a seizure, but it's something I have to closely monitor. Yeah. I don't want to put too much stress on myself because I am stressed, even though I don't have any, huge responsibilities. I still get stressed just by the daily rigmarole of being somebody with my neurodivergence. Because I got a lot of things fucked up about me. Autism, epilepsy, ADHD, depression, midget, incel, women hater, white, Trump, gay. No, I'm not gay. But being called gay, I get why people don't like it. I get why people get sensitive if you're called gay. If you're gay. It's because even if gay is not a bad thing anymore, like even if we don't stigmatize gayness as much as, it's like still, it's not fun to be labeled anything, to be put into a box. That's why it's not nice to just be like, oh, gay. That's gay. It's like, well, I'm gay. It's like, yeah. Same with incel. Incel is a label that's it's a weird label to call somebody because they don't need to be told. Like, nobody needs to be told that they're an incel. It's like, wait, what? You mean I can't get laid? I thought I could. It's like, I think you'd be the first to know that you're. I don't think somebody needs to tell me. And usually, if you're being called an incel, it'd be by somebody that probably doesn't know you that well, because they're using it as an insult. It's like, well, if you really knew me, it's like you're like, I know. I don't know. Okay. This is like the worst podcast I've ever fucking done. Okay, so the point is, it's like, that's not an insult. It's like it's a handicap. It's like, so you're just telling. It's like going up to a cancer patient and be like, you're fucking cancerous. It's like, yeah, I know. It's not my choice. Do you have anything to solve it? It's like, just telling me that I have this problem isn't really doing anything. I don't know. Okay, next topic. Okay, so we talk about brown recluse. Fuck. And I can't keep them as a pet. Jumping spiders you could keep as a pet. I like jumping spiders, but I don't know if I want them as a pet because they're still spiders. Like, they're big. I would want a jumping spider, I guess, as a pet. Okay, anyway, sober update. So I'm still sober from all the drugs that I am trying to be sober from, which is alcohol. That's it. And heroin and meth. I don't want to do street meth or anything like that. So I'm killing it. I'm almost at the year sober mark from alcohol a year ago. And I'll see, yeah. So the next step is to just is to figure out what stimulant is best for my ADHD. Because I am motivated to get back into like production. I can't just sit around all day and not, make anything. I can't just wait for the crypto market to come back because it could be fucking never. It could be never. The housing market is down. Everything's down. The stock market, the stock market is fun to kind of watch, but I don't. I'm running out of money to invest. The Tesla dollars are starting to. I need that to live off. I got like 40,000 in the bank still. That could last me a long time. I have some income that I pay myself anyway, so I'm going to continue to put in a few grand a month into the stock market because this is the time to do it. When everybody is freaking out and panic selling, that's when the rich people get richer. That's when they buy. It's a great time to buy, just index funds. But in the meantime, I'm getting into. I touched on this on the last episode. How I am getting into game development. That's what I am now. I'm now a game developer. After a 15-year plus hiatus, I am jumping deep, head first, back into solo indie game development, 2D game development. I'm starting with 2D because I don't know, it's easier. And you could do a lot in the world of 2D. So I'm making a game called Closer to Sea. It's a science fiction game with some elements of science, of real science, like real numbers and math baked into it. Real concepts like the speed of light, time dilation, and just scale. A sense of scale that's based on reality. You start off on Earth in a ship, just a regular old spaceship, but the spaceship can go up to pretty much the speed of light. So it's an idle clicker game, kind of. It's an active, semi-pass, whatever. I'm still playing with the actual game mechanics. But the point of the game is to just go as fast as possible, as far as possible into the universe. So the first goal is just to reach the moon. You start off at 0 miles an hour, 0 miles or meters a second. We're using the metric system. So you start off at 0 meters a second, and then you just you move the ship around to collect crystals, and the crystals are the currency. So you could spend the crystals to increase the power of the ship. So you increase the max speed and the acceleration and the value of the crystals. You could upgrade all those 3 things. And you just start going faster and faster, and you reach the fucking moon. The moon is about, I think, 400,000 kilometers away from the Earth. So that's the first milestone. You hit the moon. It depends on how fast you're going, so you have to upgrade the ship. If you never upgrade the ship, by default, it'll probably take fucking weeks to reach the moon, because it's based on the actual distance. You have to actually reach 400,000 kilometers. So you better be going pretty damn fast. So I'm still working on the actual logic to determine how fast to render the moon, to animate the moon as you travel past it. That's what I'm doing right now. It's pretty fun. So I downloaded like a sprite to act as the moon. It's just a pixely, super low res sprite. But I have to like make it realistic. Like if you're going a certain speed, the moon has to also travel past you at a speed relative to the distance that it is from the ship. It's just going to be like in the background. Like, okay, there's the moon. And it's going to travel in a speed relative to how fast you're going. And as you upgrade the ship and restart the game, you're going to have these bonus attributes that are going to carry over. So you're going to have to continually, reach the moon again and again. So the next time, it's going to be quicker and quicker as you get faster, these permanent speed upgrades. It's going to be, okay, now you're going 200, 1,000 kilometers a second. If you're going that fast, the moon is you're going to fucking go right past it really quickly. So the game has to only render it for a couple frames if you're going a certain speed. It's like, okay, you're going so fast that we're not even going to fucking render the moon. You're going too fast to even see it. But it's still going to register that you passed. It's still going to be like, okay, you passed the moon, now you passed this, you passed Jupiter, you passed fucking Andromeda. That's going to be one of the things. That's 2 million light years away. But the ship is going to be going faster and faster, so it is going to become possible to actually reach that distance, because with time dilation, you could travel long distances in a short amount of time. For you. Like if you were going the speed of light, which is impossible, but let's say you were, there would be no time experience in between now and when you hit Andromeda. So the game plays into that. It's like there's no science fiction there. There's no fiction. We don't have to speed up time in the game. If you're going 0.99999 C, you're going to be traveling huge amounts of distances without feeling like you're going with, like, you'll see what I mean by this. It's like, what I'm saying is the game is not going to have to artificially be like, okay, time is going this fast times 1,000,000, because we want to actually make it so you can reach these huge distances. Well, we don't have to make anything up in science fiction. In real life, you can reach Andromeda in 1 day if you're going a certain speed. If you're going 0.999 C, yeah, You don't have to speed up. You will fucking reach this fucking Andromeda or any arbitrary distance in, I don't know, 10 minutes for you. It'll feel like 10 minutes for you. For everything else in the universe, it'll be millions and millions of years because that's just how it is. You can't actually physically go faster than the speed of light. Okay, so whatever. That's a very long way of explaining a concept that most people will instantly get. But when the game, I don't think there's that many games that utilize this mechanism that I know about. I'm sure there is, but it's just like not that I know about. So that's the first game that I'm making after 15 years of an absence from that industry. And so yeah, it's fun. It's fun to like actually make progress. Every day I'm like tackling different things very effectively in way, because I'm a programmer. Like all this shit actually comes natural to me. Which is cool. Like I'm actually going to be able to release something of this game by October 1st is the goal. That's the plan. Even if it's not fully ready yet, it'll at least be like a tech demo. It'll like I already have enough of a playable tech demo where it'll be like, okay, whatever, just fucking here it is. I'm just going to release it on itch.io and just like, okay, that'll encourage me to hopefully keep going. Like, I don't fucking know. Even if it just completely doesn't go anywhere and nobody cares, I have a marketable skill. I could just get a job as a Unity developer that pays like $80,000 a year. I don't know. I'm in a privileged position where I can just fuck around and make games, not trying to even monetize them. That's a very tough thing because a lot of people who want to make games, they don't have the fucking free time. I have fucking all day to do that, and I don't have a fucking family hounding me. So I have no excuse to not make something at least a little bit decent and playable. So Closer to Sea is the name of the game. It's a 2D idle incremental game where you try to just traverse the universe and rack up more, power on and you just try to get closer and closer to sea, which is the impossible dragon that you're trying to chase. C is the speed of light. It's a finite value, but you can't reach it though. So it's going to take more and more energy as you get closer and closer. A perfect setup for an idle game. Because idle games are based around trying to get more and more accumulated power, and as it gets easier, whatever. You'll see. It's fucking awesome. Okay, I don't think we have to keep going. I don't think we have to necessarily hit an hour. That's fine. Yeah, I don't want to stretch myself to go longer than necessary. So anyway, this has been episode 45. 46. It's been episode 46. Thanks y'all for listening. Hope y'all doing good. Sorry. Okay, bye.